And that's sadly where we are. You know, it's wild, man.
Mm-hmm. You're not gonna believe this, but I don't think I've been live all this time.
No, you haven't. I thought it was a private subscribers only kind of chat. I didn't realize,
No,
you know.
well, it was for subscribers only, but you know, I started off by hitting that button. So why it's not on there right now? And I'm reading some of the comments. And I'm like, is this going to start or what?
Yeah, that's why I didn't say nothing, because I thought it was the private portion. I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Nah, it says he was earlier. So somebody said, yeah, he was earlier. So all of a sudden it just disconnected. And I don't know. And that's 6:55. So let's see. Venezuelan. What does it say? Venezuelan and Colombian girls and who are made more likely to scope. There you go. Okay.
The women kind of women. That's what kind.
Yeah, well, like somebody commented on here on the comment section that it's mostly the Venezuelans. It's not the Colombians that are actually doing the druggings. And I mean, I don't know. This is obviously from a Colombiana chat. So it's up to them. Now here we are at 7, so they may be thinking I'm exactly an hour later. But anyway, so for everybody who's just joining us, we have been on for an hour, but again, and this will replay, of course, so everybody will get to hear everything we said. Anybody who missed anything, but yeah, I don't know what happened. I started with start, and all of a sudden I just noticed from reading the comments it says start live. Yeah, live's already been started, unless the time was off. But anyway, so we've been going over just to recap anyway, and we can run through this quickly again too, because it's only been an hour. I thought it was 2 hours. But we're going over first the loss of life. But let me go ahead and reiterate the condolences and good vibes to those Americans that we have lost in the past. And in this case, they're all American too. There's no Europeans. There's nobody from Dubai. And really, I think now I want to say 48 to 55% of my viewers are American, and then the rest is everybody else. So that's a lot. That's I get people. I had somebody comment from China, from Wales, from London, from Australia, UAE. So I get a lot of comments from around the world. But this just so happens to be nothing but American. So again, condolences and good vibes to those. And let me start off again by mentioning the story that did not make the news. So this is one that I did not report on, and that is for Carlos Figueroa, 63 years old. He passed away on October 9th from a fall in a nightclub in Cartagena or near Cartagena. I don't know what that buzzing is, but near Cartagena. But the family seems to think that he may have been drugged, and that's why he happened to fall down the stairs. But that story was not reported. I just happened to find that one story the other day. I think sent that one to me, and I pulled it up and reread it today, and there's really nothing in it. And then, of course, on October 19th, Gregory Stewart Owens in Cartagena, 59 years old, from Tennessee. And again, an outpouring of love and support for this gentleman. He was loved. A lot of people. I mean, his son reached out. The family, the friends that I knew him here, I knew him there. I don't recall any story with that much of an outpouring of love. Also, Johnny Jerome, 45 years old. He's the gentleman who passed away in the jacuzzi tub in Provenza and Poblado. That was on October 30th. And then A.A. Shiyoye, 40 years old, from they say chimney, but I think it's got to be another name for a chimney. It's and I see it Carlton in the house too. But I think it was one of those like gas heaters to go on the balcony or something like that. And he passed. And then the other gentleman, they were trying to get him shipped back home for medical treatment from the burn center, I think in Miami. That happened on October 22nd. The gentleman, A.A. Shoyoye, passed on the 2nd of November. And then on November 19th, Hewitt Jeffrey Hudson. This is the most recent one from 3-4 days ago. Also known as Jeffrey Hewitt. His friends and family know him as Jeffrey Hewitt or Hewitt. 55 years old. He was stabbed in a hotel in Poblado too, just south of Parque Poblado. He was 55 years old. This one, again, I still think there's way more to the story than has been shown and been told. I think there's, because again, they say she left the building with this stuff, and then he left the building, or we're not sure if it was a he or a she that left the building. So it could have been more than one. Again, these people work in groups. So again, I don't know what happened with the button up front, but since we just had Carlton join us, I'm going to jump him in right quick. What's up, Mr. Carlton?
Hey man, how you guys doing?
We all well, man.
Everybody good?
What's happening?
Everything's good, man. Just came from the gym.
There you go. You in shape. That's what's up, man. I skipped today. To be honest with you, I'm still sore from the other day. I can't go in while I'm sore. But if everybody remembers, I had a conversation with Carlton, a week ago?
Yeah.
A week ago Sunday, we went live, and he passed on some information about why he moved. And Carlton, I'll let you reiterate for those who didn't get to see you, but why you moved from Medellin to Cartagena, number one. And then, do you think Medellin is safe any longer?
Man, I would not go back to Medellin. I would not go back there, man. I'd rather go. If I leave Cartagena, I might go to Barranquilla or somewhere else, but it's just getting too dangerous, man. Every week there's somebody else get killed. You know, it's just getting too often. I don't see the same problem in Cartagena. I really don't. You know, it's a smaller city too. You know, but it's still a tourist city. I expect to see some more drugging, but I don't see as much. I hear about as much as I hear in Medellin. It's crazy there now.
So it was a fluke what happened to Gregory Stewart.
Nothing happens at all, but I'm saying as far as the frequency and so forth. You know, it can happen every now and then, but it seems like in Medellin, that's like every week here's one or two. And it's getting like ridiculous there.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I reached out to Maria earlier. When you mentioned you knew somebody lived in Medellin and moved to Spain, was that Maria?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. And Jimmy, yeah, okay. Yeah, because I was trying to get her. She said, and she moved from Medellin and said that it's straight dangerous. And there's a lot of things that you guys and we guys may not be aware of. Some of the ways that the girls are finessing the guys, and just some of the new scams and ways to get over. It's hard times. I mean, remember, I keep reminding people, they closed this country down for 2 years.
Yeah.
They closed it down. I mean, COVID was real, which I still tested positive today. Go figure, man.
What? Sure.
Yeah, man, I feel good, and just can't get around nobody, and got invited out and can't go nowhere. It's just sucks, man. But
I still think that the number of cases are underreported.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, personal experience, because when I had my channel, when I was in Medellin with my YouTube channel, I've spoken to about 7 guys that when they came in and give me some advice about what to do, and 5 of the 7 got scoped and told me about it, but they never reported it. So what am I going to do? They were safe, they were fine, they got scoped.
Let me go around the clock. I'm going to guess. I'll start with me, and then Luis, King, and Carlton. Give me the percentage you think of the percentage of guys that you think report being scoped. I'm going to guess that 5% reported.
Probably 10,
Luis?
15%.
Oh, Carlton, you say what?
10, 15.
10, 15%, Luis?
About 10, 15 as well.
Okay. King, y'all giving more credit than me.
Yeah.
Definitely the same thing. I'd say that, because especially here, not say here is probably low. Well, in Cali it's probably lower, because you rarely, unless you're connected to the people like I am throughout the groups, you very rarely hear it. But I can name 37 people that have been asleep involuntarily here.
Yep.
Oh, we all know when you get around the crew and you start talking, and but they don't call. And this is just scoping. What about getting robbed or some other type of crime too?
Yep.
I'm gonna say it's just as low, because some
Yep,
people don't
definitely.
have faith in the cops. They just don't.
I think a lot of the scams that happen a lot more are actually like those type of scams where they win your confidence. They come up to you all friendly, and then basically they take something from you. It's giving papaya, as they call it down in giving the opportunity. That's like when most the locals are very friendly, but when someone comes up to you, you don't know them, they're willing to just like give come do anything they can to give you direction to anything. Basically, like they go bend over backwards for no reason. then there's something is up. You know, those are a lot of those scams happen more often than anything. So you have to watch out on the streets when you're walking Calle 10 and you got some guy telling you, "Hey, I got a question," you know, and basically you guys like, "You know what? I keep on walking," you know. So you gotta watch out for those.
And see, what you just said makes sense too. We had an incident before I left. A lot of folks aren't aware enough to understand if somebody just moves in your crowd and just start, you know, trying to be your buddy and chum, look at that cat sideways, especially if they start throwing out stories that ain't making no sense and start saying stuff that's complete fugazi. Us old cats know what that means.
Yeah.
You can smell it. If you smell it enough to do that, get away from that mug, because you know something bad coming behind it. Something's not going to be right. And matter of fact, Rob, I was in El Tesoro a couple of months back and I ran into that dude, the English speaking cat.
I was getting ready to pull up his picture, but I don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, though.
Yeah, he walked over, hey, man, hey, I'm from New York. I'm like, bruh, I use other words other than what I'm finna say, bruh. Hi, take care of yourself over there. Leave me alone. He's like, what are you talking about? I say, look here, bruh, please don't make me repeat myself in here. It was me and another cat. The other guy was like, hey, like, no, you don't understand what this is. You don't pay enough attention, bruh. You don't know this cat from out in the house cat. You can't get happy with him. You don't know who he is. Next thing you know, you got stuck, took. You just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? People are friendly here, no doubt. But when folks start moving in, trying to get too familiar, too fast, with too many stories, it's time to dead it. And that's, I think, one thing that I see here with some of the groups and some of the folks who come, they don't understand that point. They are happy to see you, but may or may not for the reason you think. You might be another payday, another meal ticket. You might be that reason for them to jump off and do what they've been meaning to or want to do forever. So you got to be next level aware. Enjoy yourself, please. Have a good time by all means, but be vigilant. Understand that you are not at home. That's always a rule I preach. You ain't at home. You left. You somewhere else. They are not unintelligent. They just don't think like we do.
Mm-hmm. And from an expat, people need to hear that statement. You are not at home. Somebody told me there's a line in the movie Casino. This not your home. You're not at home. You need to recognize you're not there. You can't, I mean, and people say, you can't do this, can't do that. What kind of vacation is that? I mean, that's not really a vacation, is it? I mean, if you are Parquilletas chasing down the girls again, and I think a lot of these comments, and I'm going to read some of these comments, especially since I wasn't logged in. A lot of these comments, the guys need to know this is what they think about us. So when you go out there and you wild out and you treat these girls poorly, I mean, the girls, first of all, obviously they don't want to do the job. They do it. It's accepted. It is what it is. The family members accept it. The sisters, brothers, fathers, everybody understand this is what goes on. But when you treat them poorly too, and then you try to cheapen them down. And just like the girl that I interviewed the other night, well, the redo of the girl I interviewed the other night, she says, and she said it. How many times I've been saying this? And she said it actually out of her mouth, that guys will go up to Gusto's and get drunk and don't spend when they tell them $200, $300, $400, whatever they charging, they want to come down them stairs or come down that elevator. And then the girls are standing out there, the ones that can't get in the club. And you done had a few drinks. And everybody always comments too, man, that girl ain't that good looking either. Because you've been drinking. You've been drinking. Everybody here ought to know. Hey, come on. We all done had too much to drink and she just looked better. I mean, it is what it is. And then you think you got these negotiating skills and you want to negotiate with the girl. The girl said this amount. That should be when's cheap ever been a good idea? Stop being cheap. But and I see Ham on here too, but it says your device is not connected. Let me read a few of these stories again, because these guys didn't get to hear this before. This is from Twitter from a day ago and up to today. I think it's about 60%. I'm guessing about 60% women on this Twitter, X, whatever it's called. And the first comment or the first post says, in Medellin, 5 gringos have been found dead in hotels in the last 2 weeks. The dream of the city being dangerous for them is once again becoming a reality. Then people start to comment. I'm going to say next, and I'm going to read the next comment. It says, the common thing, he entered the hotel with an old woman, I guess with the old lady he met on Tinder. Woman is always making homeland. Next. But dead from overdose, ? Next. 2 for stabbing, 1 for hitman, 1 for scopolamine overdose, and the other I don't know. People have mentioned the shooting. It was a straight up hit. I mean, did y'all see the video?
Okay.
Of the guy?
I don't think I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Now obviously
something recently? Something recently?
The same night as the guy who got stabbed in the 11th. The morning of the 11th. It's the 14th, 3 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, out front of was it Club Dubai on Calle Diaz Norte, like between, probably around by Éxito, somewhere around that, one on the other side of the street. And they got the red carpet sitting up, and the guy just pops out of nowhere, and I've seen it not blurred. He just walks up, baseball cap, turns around, and blasts him in front of everybody. And everybody panics, run back in, except one guy. When you watch this video, he got a drink in his hand. He's like,
what?
Just going. Some people, it don't phase, which made me think, is he part of it? But
it's a hit. It's a Sicario hit.
It was a hit.
Wow.
It was straight up hit. If there ever was a hit, that was a hit. So she's explaining these are the last 4 or 5. I don't know and have not heard anything about him being a tourist. So for those who've asked me did that happen and why I didn't report on it, because I don't report on every crime.
Right.
You think I'm negative now?
Yeah.
There's something going on every day, and some of the stuff is quite crazy. But it says nature is healing. That's a comment. Nature is healing. In other words, it shall be so. Next says, haha, I was expecting this comment. Next, well, they themselves are the ones that fill Instagram with advertising videos of the city, selling it as an open air whorehouse where all the women are dying for them, according to these those gringo whores. Do they like to objectify the women in the city? Well, there you have it. Again, guys, come here, and if that's your deal, don't treat them poorly. Don't treat the girls poorly. You don't know. I mean, some of these, and I'm going to guess that some of the guys even got their girls out there. So you may be treating that girl wrong. She's just doing what she has to survive. Next, it says Colombia is the only country where its citizens are happy that there are more criminals. Next, another huge L for the sexpats. Next, moving to another part of the world because you can't swoop chicks in your own country will always have ghastly consequences. Next, your tweets are very funny. You're also probably the first to be offended when they joke about cocaine. I don't know what they're going to flag this video. We done said a few words already. Next, as they say they F around and you'll find out about it. It is what they look for, what they did not lose. No, this is one that I want to read. This is a quote. Organized crime ending gentrification one step at a time since the government in power have not been able to do so. They're talking about us. They're talking about you, the viewers, right now. Let me scroll down because, here's one. I like happy endings. Again, this is about the murder of 5 people. May this have the deterrent effect that we all hope for. Amen. Sound like a prayer? I mean, it's got fingers crossed. It didn't give the prayer, but the last one, I put a couple of asterisks in front of them. This one says, but usually it's not even Colombian women who mess with them. They're pure Venezuelans. According to them, and these are mostly Colombian women saying they don't like gringos, black or white. They just don't like us. And so when you go out in the street, and we said this, and King, you said this a little while ago, when you go out and you act a certain way, you are a representative from everybody who comes behind you.
Yeah.
So again, I've been to places where I've been there. I know they have never seen a little kid look at me like I'm the only black person they ever seen in their life. So if I act up, they're going to think all black people act up.
Exactly right.
So this one says, how delicious it looks like 5 less dirty gringos who were polluting Medellin.
Whoa, damn, it's cold.
That's brutal. These are their words on BB there, but there are some irresponsible being. Last week we insisted to not go it alone. He was spending like, they're talking about a gringo. It says, but there are some irresponsible. It says BN. I don't know what that is. OBB, sad face, irresponsible BN. Last week, we insisted to one not to go alone. He was spending like crazy. Maybe he left drunk, and after 3 hours, we saw him in the street with another girl. And that's how it happens. I mentioned this the other day. It's like the wild. But 10 cars on the street. One car, you don't lock the door. Guess which one gets robbed? 10 houses on the street. One house don't lock the door. Guess which one gets burglarized? You know, in the wild, it's the baby elephant that gets attacked, or rhinoceros or whatever. They're going for the weakest link, and the weakest link is the one that's drunk.
Walking around drunk.
The drunkest one is the one that gets chosen. So keep in mind. Let me look at some of these while we're here. Hammer, you still there? It says disconnected. VJ, you still there? I can't tell. It says not true. Said damn Rob, 1 hour late. We were here. We just weren't sharing. When I clicked to start, it started. Y'all saw me, and then all of a sudden I went away. I don't know what happened. Medellin Buzz. Well, we all been here. Hey Rob, weird. It said it just started. It did again. No, Rob, I just started. Venezuelan girls are friendly. And can any of you, Luis? I know you can tell. But Carlton, King, can you tell Venezuelan girl from a Colombian girl?
I could.
By looking at them, no.
Not by the way they speak, for me at least.
Okay, so you can tell by the accent.
Looking at him, I can. Looking at him, I can. When they speak sometimes, but looking at him, I couldn't tell in the street.
No, definitely not how they look, but for me, definitely that Antioquia Paisa accent. If you don't have that, you're not from Antioquia.
Right.
I kind of think of more like Venezuelan accents are more Dominican. I'm Dominican, and basically I grew up in a community of Dominicans, and it's almost like they don't have a very fast, very much slower. Versus a person from Medellin, for example, or have that they drag the last word, so they have this distinctive accent with the last word that they speak in a sentence, they drag it. Versus from Venezuela, I can probably connect more in terms of the accents because they sound more like Dominicans, not 100%. But I can tell that they're not from Colombia at all because they sound more like Dominican. So basically, I can tell they're from Venezuela.
Okay.
And they all just talk too fast for me. I can't. That's the first thing I learned is must
the coast is worse. The coast, they speak really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Costeños, they be getting it in.
Really fast.
King, what kind of microphone you got on, man? Your voice is projecting like you Barry White from you leaning back. Is a mic on you?
Nah, I got my Bluetooth on.
Oh, okay. I'm like, damn, man, how's he leaning away and his voice is still. What I need a new mic. Let me see. I don't know how many people I can get in here. VJ, you still there? Okay, let's 5 in.
Well, I got to get out of here shortly. I had a client just called. I'm just open enrollment for me. So.
Okay, hey man, I appreciate you jumping in, bro.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Much love to the chat. Much love to the panel. Y'all be easy.
Okay, we'll talk soon, man. VJ, you still there? Hammer, it says you'll need to connect your mic or something like that. Now he disappeared. He dropped off. Come back in if you can.
I'm here, sir. I just having some connection problems.
Okay, no worries. Well, just quick question. Can you tell the difference between a Venezuelan female and a Colombian girl from looking at them?
No. What I have noticed is Venezuelans, for the most part, it all really depends because some of them look really European and not that much of hourly shaped glass, an hour shaped glass body, and the lighter skin ones, and the darker skin ones look more kind of Colombian, but kind of up in the coast due to like the more of the brownish skin. That's what I noticed. That's kind of how I can tell them apart. And obviously when they talk, you can tell.
Yeah, you guys can tell. Let me read some of the comments. Just came back from Cartagena. It's beautiful there. There you go, Carlton.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Cartagena because of the rappers, man. Everybody loves them rappers. That's a joke.
The rappers?
Yeah, that's a joke, man. I heard somebody commented once about the dudes and the rappers, and like 5, 6, 7 people below that was like, "Yeah, man, they suck. They should outlaw that stuff. What is this criminal?" Oh, nobody enjoys.
Yeah, I know you're talking. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I'm from Morocco. Again, we got people from all over. Shout out to Morocco. Thanks for joining us. Shout out from Salinas, California. Salinas. Okay, Brian S says someone is floating around photos of a dead woman on a beach in Cartagena. It's a little distasteful. I have not seen that story. Have you heard anything about that, Carlton?
That's Brian, huh? Okay, Brian.
I mean, is that a joke, or you haven't heard anything about it?
Yeah, no, yeah. I know Brian. Let's move on. Let's move on from that.
Okay. Why are the U.S. news sparing reporting of the tourist death? They're focusing on keeping our mind occupied off of other things. Free Palestine. I'll say it. Hammer, I saw you there, but it says you could not connect without your microphone being on or something like that. So if you can, because Hammer got comments for you guys that you need to hear. Okay, Christian Sal says, I got advice from horn dogs looking for booty, but don't want scope risk. Jonathan, thanks for the super chat, brother. It seems like a lot less scopes of gringos targeting in Bogota. No, I'm going to say, I mean, I just don't focus on the news there. I click over every once in a while when I'm looking for stories, probably like you do the same thing, Luis. But I don't focus on that. I focus on Medellin. So I'll look at all my sources through Medellin first, and then nothing really happened. I'll try to click over to Bogota or Cali and then Cartagena. Because people care about Cartagena. I don't know why they love Cartagena. You tell me, Carlton. I ain't trying to hate, man. But it's
the coast, man. It's the coast. I love the coast. I can look out my window and see the beach. That's what it's all about here. Some people don't like the beach.
You like the water. And if you like the water, I get that.
Water. Yeah. If you don't, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, if you like the water and I saw you got the view, you can see it from your window, and you like the fish too. You catching fish out there?
And the diversity in the people. I like the diversity also.
Diversity how? You mean the tourists coming in and out?
What's that?
You mean with the tourists coming in and out?
No, diversity of the people here, mixed. Yeah, I think Medellin is mostly probably about 80% more white Colombians, and Cartagena, you have a big mixture,
Okay, close to the coast. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Jonathan, thank you. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Bogota worse for the scoping?
Well, I think
bad.
I think Bogota is it's been pretty bad in terms of physical attacks and crime. It's been going up. I mean, before Medellin, the Scopolamine, the women were known as Black Widows back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and basically where tourism is like a flame, and all those moths are gonna go to that flame if they see that money sign. So Yaros Park is that flame, and scoping happens more in Yaros Park than any other place in Medellin. I hang out a lot in Sabaneta, and I don't hear anything about scoping in Sabaneta, only in Yaros Park. So like I said, it's all gravitates towards where the tourism censors itself in this Parquilleros and Poblado. And so basically, but in terms of Bogota, I think more of the armed robbery, muggings, that's happening a lot in Bogota. Yeah. And I'm not too familiar of the no-go zones of Bogota, but I know Kennedy has been mentioned a lot. Kennedy is like, don't go there, in Bogota. So I've seen there's been a lot of more physical attacks in Bogota, not in the pink rose, the way called the zona rosa, which is like similar to Yaros in Bogota, but more like in those areas in the outskirts. Yeah, you don't want to. Even the buses get mugged. The passengers.
Well, I was going to say, I've seen, I don't know how many bus robberies. I've seen more bus robberies out of Bogota than anywhere. Yeah. The girl with the phone, stuck it in her leg and pulled the other one out. Hey, what do you mean? What's going on?
That was Bogota.
She was slick. That was Bogota.
Yeah. And also the overpass somewhere. I know Bogota is a overpass. There's a gang that operates there. And there's no security, no police patrols. And so far, there's been people, even young kids, getting jumped and killed and stuff like that. So, Bogota, you have to be very careful. It's like I said, you have to know where you're going. You have to walk the walk, I guess, but don't walk it as if you're a foreigner.
Yeah, I've seen them. They block the streets. They block the highway.
Yeah.
And then just rob people in from their cars as they stop. I had another video I was going to show too. I forgot where it was, but they tried to rob somebody. Man, I'll show it in another one. They walked in, they showed a restaurant, people sitting there watching the game. One of the guys had the helmet on. He was acting like he's watching the game. And then his buddy came in with the gun. And then they all snatched all the gold and everything. Next thing you know, one of the citizens had his bike there and he pulled the cover off and pulled his pistol out and didn't shoot him, but he caught him and turned him in.
There's a lot of street justice too. So
I love street justice.
A lot of balance there that's been happening lately, where there's a lot of people that are getting fed up and they're fighting back. So
I love street justice. This right here, and this is one thing that we need to be aware of, that we're following along with all of these other things that I just read. We got to deal with this.
An ISD teacher is accused of traveling out of the country to have sex with minors. KVU's Jenny Lee is here with the latest on this investigation. Jenny?
Well, Quita, federal investigators say 40-year-old Michael Roberts traveled to Colombia to have sex with minors between December 2020 and June of last year. Court documents say there were at least 3 minors involved in this case. Austin ISD placed Roberts on administrative leave shortly after federal authorities arrested him in Round Rock yesterday.
So this is what we're coming behind.
Wow.
And he's not the only one, if you remember. And I reported that story 2 years ago. And since then, I know there's been at least 3 that I can picture right now. The Indian guy, Guru, whatever, the brother who ended up being shipped back. I mean, the U.S. came and got him and shipped him back to Chicago or whatever. And then there's another guy, another foreign, I don't know if he's what he is, but yeah, and they caught him. So I know of those 4 right off the bat. And that's who we're coming behind. And they're putting these comments up. And it's for real. Now, I ran this one video when I first started. And then because you guys weren't here, I'm going to run it again. But this is how not to show up in town. Let's just put it that way. Because, and like I said, you don't know who's watching you at any given time. Somebody's always watching. And when you get comfortable and you think nobody's watching is when you get got. Being alert is your best defense. Remember that. But this right here is in front of Energy Living. It's about 2 years ago, but it's an oldie, but you probably haven't seen it. So for those who haven't seen me at any given time, let me show you this one. Okay, again, this video is from a couple of years ago out front of Energy Living. You can see the one-way street out front. You know where it is. If this is not typical dress, these cats were marked at the airport. I'll promise you, they were followed all the way from the airport. Look at this, warm-up suits, slippers with socks on, backpacks, baseball cap. Tell me, is this not the same guy who has on the American flag that I use in a lot of my thumbnails? And they had on gold chains, and you can see them. They were forced to take the chains off. This is typical, guys. Typical. It's typical. So you see that. You see how they dress. Slippers, slippers and socks. One of them had on shorts. Both of them had on gold chains and watches. One of them had on warm-up pants. Both of them had on baseball caps. And I mean, they had on everything except for the sign that said "Rob me." That was the only thing they was missing. I mean, you guys, you got to come prepared. And I don't know, everybody, I don't know if they're thinking because I'm at Energy, nobody's going to bother me, or because I'm a high roller, nobody's going to bother me. But I'll guarantee you they were followed from the airport. I mean, think about how else would they just sit outside and wait?
Right,
I mean,
right.
They could have, but it looks like the bikes pull up at the last minute. There's another view too from the other side, because I remember when it happened, people were saying it wasn't. They weren't Colombian. Let me read some of the messages right quick though. I mean, if it's one of those nights that men, okay, paying in other words, Fase Dos. Yeah, we know what Fase Dos is. Fase Dos is a strip club, by the way, and probably extra stuff too. I'm in OG to Colombia, just watching out of curiosity. Okay. Medellin Buzz, getting scoped isn't much of a problem if you don't pick up hookers and you don't use dating apps to date people 20 years younger than you.
That's
You
true
know,
right there.
We talked about this earlier. All of the, I mean, you guys tell me, but I would say 95% of these issues with scopolamine are surrounding one or two activities.
Yeah.
Almost always. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree. It's if you can take out the ingredient of the dating apps, you probably squash 90% of incidents involving Scopolamine and Tor. The other 10% will have to be probably meeting someone randomly at the bar and parking Yarrow somewhere. You know,
But those two are the same. Those are girls either way.
yeah, and there's always even meeting someone at the bar randomly without the use of dating app, they're always going to be red alerts, red flags that come along with when you do use an app. I mean, I'm not saying that every person on the app is bad, but there's a high chance that there is going to be a very high chance that you're going to get got. You know,
there's no guarantee though. I know two guys that knew the girl for a while, one over a year, one 2 years, you know, had her in the house when he was gone, just knew her pretty well. And when she was leaving town, both of them, they got scoped and they took off of their stuff, you know, so there's no guarantee you can never happen to anybody. There's no guarantee.
There are some people that there are some really good ones that like you said, I think you mentioned it before on one of your videos, that they kind of wait for like a year or two to get to know you. They kind of like COVID.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true. That's true. I heard that too.
No,
I heard that too.
Yeah,
the long con.
Yeah, they infiltrate your confidence.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And basically, and then it's like a cancer, and then when it's ready to spread, that's they'll wait till the right time to get you. You know, so there are some, I think, you know, that it doesn't happen as often, but there are people out there that have the patience because they probably have 100 other people that they're already working on.
Yeah, but 90% are those random pick up from Tinder in the bar, and you know that's 90% of them, I think.
Yeah.
And you're trying to be cheap on the street. Again, stop trying to be cheap on the street. When has being cheap ever been a good idea? That's the one time you don't want to bargain. You're pretty much bargaining with your life. And for those working the long con, you don't even, and she may not even be working a long con. She could be dating you for 2 years, and then all of a sudden she realizes she got to pay these bills.
Yeah.
Christmas coming up. Who here thinks with Christmas coming it's gonna get better?
Oh no.
Oh no, it's gonna get worse. Yep, exactly.
I mean, think about it. They have to buy their kids toys. They overextend themselves, and now they need money. So now they're really out there hustling. And now what happens? A bus pull up or a plane pull up, and a whole boatload of Americans and other foreigners get off every day. You guys fly. I mean, Carlton, you live there, but how many times have you been in and out of there, Luis, and you look around and you just see nothing but American men or other foreigners coming? Every time I come, I look and go, damn, this is just my plane.
Yeah. Every time I go there, and that's once a month, you know, and it seems to be getting bigger and bigger, and the waiting time is getting longer and longer at the Medellin airport because it's all men kind of coming off the plane. There's a few locals that live, you know, come out of that plane, but that Spirit Airlines that comes off, you know, from wherever city in the U.S.
From Florida,
and go into, you know, Cartagena, mostly Medellin. Yeah, you're gonna see that long line, you know. And I listen and watch, you know, and basically kind of take notes. I'm like, yeah, no, you don't want to do that, no. And I do meet some guys. I meet some guys, talk to them like, hey, don't, you know, avoid this, avoid that, take an Uber, you know, while there, and don't exchange your money at the airport. Use ATM. So basically, you know,
take that watch off. Yeah.
There's some guys that do that too. They come in really, you know, really like, you know, dressed up as if they're going to some red carpet Oscars awards in New York City. So
they come in a short and they're waiting on you, the fake taxi and all, and even the scammer. I told you, he's been pointed out at the airport.
Yeah.
You need a ride? Oh, I got a ride, man. Don't pay him. I'm from New York. Everybody ought to know I didn't bring him up in this video. I mean, I didn't bring a picture or a video of him. But anybody that walks up to you and goes, hey, I mean, I got him on video. Somebody sent him to me. I don't know if that was you, VJ, that sent it to me and said, ain't this the guy?
Yeah, he was eating, I think, or something like that on the video.
Yeah, another blogger was walking around and just filming in El Centro, and he goes, hey, Where are you from? Oh, it wasn't. You couldn't get a better video of this guy. And then he asked him, "Could I put you on YouTube?" And he goes, "Yeah, effing right, you can put me on YouTube," and puts his whole face in the screen. He just identified himself for all you guys. Remember, he's the one that got arrested and dropped a baggie during the arrest.
Whoa.
Remember, because they were look at that bag. Look at that bag. They had to tell the cops. The cops was like, what's going on? I don't see anything. Dude, the baggie. When he pulled his ID out, the little baggie with white stuff fell on the ground. And the guys that hemmed him up are the ones that got him arrested. You know, what happened was he ran up into the same guy. That's how I wonder how he got along with this for so long. Hammer, you got to jump in, man. But it's telling me your device is not connected or something like this. It says that they will need to connect their mic cam before we can add you to live stream. It won't let you jump in. But yeah, Hammer ran into him at the mall. Other people have run into this cat at the mall or at Parque. What is it?
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. The Santa Fe is his stomping grounds, and then off of 10 somewhere, and then Parque is too. But the one time I was there, though, sitting there, my back against the wall next to Gusto, just watching the people come in and out, I saw him go, "Hey!" I said, "Holy crap!" So many people that told me about him, I just never saw him face to face, and I was like, I tried to get a picture of him. Sure enough, that was him. So ever since then, we put the word out. I don't know. I probably got 10 videos on him. So all you got to do is type in DC Born Rob scammer, and you'll see his videos pop up.
Yeah, I want to run into that guy and let him try to finesse me, and like, because again, like I said, I come from a different point of view, from like Spanish point of view, but still from LA, from that mentality right now. You know how everybody's like the red pill and all that sort of stuff. So I guess American men come, and this is just strictly Western mentality that I'm thinking of. And you're like, yeah, let me go show off, because naturally us, we're providers and all that, right? That's what makes us men and what have you, right? But just we're so caught up in the flashiness, especially with social media and everything, we get caught up in that, right? So our mentality is we got to go. What I called it as, well, I used to know it as, like, let me go stun. Let's go stun, right? So I guess, like you said, Luis, you know, those people show up and you look at them, they're like complete clowns, right? But we already have knowledge of the culture. So that's the only thing I think we just got to help guys out, man. You know, like, especially you, Rob, you're doing the best job, man, anybody could ask for. Through you, I learned so much, and I keep learning stuff. So hats off to you, Mr. Luis. You know, nice to meet you. And what's the gentleman's other name? I'm sorry, because I'm driving.
Carlton.
Mr. Carlton, yeah.
You know who that is? That's the famous Carlton. I watched Carlton before I moved there.
Fresh Prince? Oh, man, no, I never heard of Mr. Carlton. I just heard of Fresh Prince.
Yeah, and before I moved down, I watched Carlton, so he's
okay. Oh, that's what's up. I gotta look up Mr. Carlton. But yeah, as a Western man, I see it, and having no luck with women and all that, because I've been through that, right? Like really bad. But anyhow, just coming over here and seeing the videos, the creepy videos and all that, you get enamored, right? So we're coming out here, you know, and we come see this, and we try different things, and like you said, the guy that's dressed like that, you know, that's a straight mark on his back, but they don't know that, you know. It's just, I'm glad with the word sharing the word with men, and like, you got to watch this, watch that, and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of how where I see that Mr. Luis, what you're talking about how they're dressed and things like that. My other point to that is, a lot of people don't, well, because they probably don't know, there's like other areas. It's not just Lleras. Like there's my friend's got a DJ. He plays in Buenos Aires, and there's a lot of places over there. It's like just like another couple blocks or a party district, but I think that's like more like where locals go. Mm-hmm. And if people were out to venture like that, I think a lot of that stuff will get cut out too. You know, getting scoped and all that, because like that place, the Lleras and all that, I only been there like 2 times and all that I gone, but because what I learned and all that, I'd rather still go to these other local places. But that's just because I speak Spanish, so that's the advantage. And like you said, Rob, you know, we got to learn how to speak Spanish, and learn just Spanish, man, there should be some course. You should do some course, Rob. I'm serious. Like,
I
to help
don't
these
speak
guys out.
Spanish.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of. You
No,
saw I've
no,
done a couple of videos, but
no, not
Luis is
Spanish.
yeah.
Yeah, no, not Spanish, sir. I'm sorry to cut you off. No, not Spanish. Just the course, like how to instruct men to move and all that, you know. And yeah,
Yeah.
because it's getting crazy, man. What was it? 5 people this week or last week
In
or
2 weeks.
2 weeks, right? Yeah,
19.
that's one too many. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. Like and like you guys said, we don't know the struggle, you know. Like you see, I was down there, Mr. Luis, the same time I think you probably were down towards Toscana, going up towards to Bello. There was the people with the red flags. I don't know if you got a chance to see them. I was down there the first time in December of 20 when it was like just the lockdown, complete lockdown.
I remember those days. I remember.
Yeah, and you know, to that point, like you said, you don't know who's eaten or who hasn't. There was people out there with the little red flags, and there were just people that I think that was to just announce, you know, can you bring us food? Like that's how bad it was. So yeah, to that point, if you're it's pretty much comes down to situational awareness.
Yeah.
You know, and just being try to do your there's so much information out now. It's kind of hard not to understand why people get caught up like that.
No.
So not doing due diligence, man.
Yeah.
Let me read a few of these messages right quick though, because this is a good one right here. It says, well, also girls in clubs in Yetters Park are legit girls, and foreigners don't realize that there isn't the same pickup culture as there is in the US or Europe. Like I said, 5 years ago, it used to be groups of girls coming down there and regular girls. I don't think they're really going down there anymore. Because they may be perceived as, hey, how much, or who knows what they're saying. I'll never forget the first time they approached me. They said something about companionship, something compagnon. I didn't know. When I first moved there, I kid you not, I did not know prostitution was legal. I thought they were just hanging out on the corner. Guys to come through, especially the first time I went down there with my colleagues like 8 years ago. I had no idea. Raise. Give a shout out to Razor Race for all the work he does too, man, because he passes on some good information. It's really good on the guys. Let's see. I heard he got shot because he was dancing with a narco girl. I don't know what that means, but that's crazy. Beware the motos.
Talking about Club Dubai.
Of course.
The guy who got shot in Medellin.
Could have been. I mean, you don't know who anybody is. Like I said, I mean, you saw the video. By the way, I had the video, VJ. I didn't have it clear like you sent it.
Okay.
It's brutal. Let's see. Yo, Medellin Buzz is why when people come into Medellin to buy your course and pay $227 per hour to you. What? I don't know what that is. Beware the motos. So DC and your panel. Is there a difference with the girls in Medellin and Cartagena? Carlton, you're up.
A difference? Only difference I can say is they want a lot more money here. There's money hungry here. Very, very money hungry. Because a lot of tourists comes in, right? A lot of guys come in, tourists. And some of these guys act like rock stars, man. I see them on the beach just ordering lobsters for the girls and, you know, big drinks for the girls, and they treat them really well. I heard guys paying girls $300 a night. It's just, so the girls here just get used to these big money. And sometimes, they just want only great date gringos, and they want a bunch of money. You know, it's hard to find a regular girl now because they all see the way to make money here in Cartagena. Tourists.
Whole city's on the take.
Yep.
And I think if for those who are actually looking for relationships abroad, like in Colombia, it's important to know that the normal local girls don't hook up. There's no such thing as a hookup culture in Colombia. There is a paid hookup culture, as you can see, in Yetters Park and services that they exist. But those aren't the normal local girls. If you want to actually go and meet women, locally and get to know them, and if you're serious about relationships outside the U.S. and you're interested in going to Colombia, go outside Poblado, go to Sabaneta.
Yep. Exactly right. Smaller towns.
Yes, sir. And I think the other point too, sir, is get a group of friends, make friends with females, and show up with the females, and the girls will come to you. That's what I've experienced and seen.
if you show interest
Yeah.
in it, they come to you. And from what I've seen and heard, they're very old school. They will definitely love to go and for you to go and hang out and eat ice cream or at the mall, or something like that. So they're very old school. They're very, traditional. But so if you're looking into that side of, traveling and meeting women, like legit wise and in developing a relationship that possibly might have a future between the two of you, to basically definitely get out of poblado.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Sabaneta, Vigara, Laureles, a lot of these locals will definitely take you under their wing and they'll show you. That's how I got started with basically checking out all the other parts of Colombia. The ideas that I demonstrated on that I post on the group or my profiles, that's actually because my girl is the one that gave me the ideas, like, hey, there's a place up in the mountains called Casa del Aire, which is house in the air. We're gonna go zip lining and rock climbing and all this craziness, and I keep going to different places every month, and because of her, that is my path of how I came to integrate myself into that society.
And Luis has video of all his trips too. I've asked him a couple of days ago to help me put together some sort of video, and I'll bring him back on to discuss other places you can go. There's other things to do other than Parquilleres. There's other things to do in Colombia. I'm going to read some more of these messages, but remember, look at how they perceive us. I mean, it makes me. I'm not even involved in that, but I'm still, when they see me, it's us. It's part of us. But one thing you said that to preface your statement, Luis, that got me, and I'm going to repeat it right now, is if you are serious about meeting a girl, and I'm going to follow that up with learn some Spanish.
Yeah.
Learn some Spanish. If you are serious. I mean, if you seriously, I love Latin women. The women down there are beautiful, and they supposedly, I've heard guys say it ain't all what you think it is. But regardless, if you are serious, learn some Spanish, put some work into it. Google Translate's not work. And I can't imagine. I seriously can't imagine, I know people do it, but I just can't. Can you go? Oh, they misspelled it. What does your button mean? And it doesn't mean what you typed in because you misspelled something. I can't imagine. Yo hablo poquito español, pero es bastante. Porque yo trabajar, I work on it. And wherever I go, my Uber was my lesson. That was my classroom. I'm not going to drive across town with my Uber driver and not talk. That's my classroom. I'm going to learn. I've had conversations where I was just fluent. I was like, damn, I speak Spanish. Oh my God. I got out the car, man, feeling we were just joking. I just understood each other. Then there's people I got in there and I was like, what the hell did he say? What? I couldn't understand. I don't know if he had been drinking, just borracho. You learn early on being here in Texas. It gets borracho, but you need to learn some Spanish. So if you are serious, learn some Spanish, put some effort into it. It's not a lot. Like I said, I did go back. I have a couple of videos, but I'm nowhere near a teacher, but I learned from doing opposites: up, down, left, right, forward, back, above, below. And that helped me through my conversations. And then who, where, what, why, and when. And then learning. And then, first thing you need is slow up. Despacio, más despacio, because they'll start. My enunciation is good. I don't know a lot of words, but my enunciation is good. So when they hear me talk, they think, no. Unless I'm expecting that answer, I don't have a clue.
But one thing he's right. When I was in Medellin, I traveled a lot all over Colombia, Manizales, Pereira, all these places. And he's right. You can find some nice girls and nice women in these smaller towns away from Medellin, away from Cartagena, that are really nice and they're friendly. They like to see an American. They don't see many Americans in those places. And I met a lot of people that way. Good women. I think it's just they're far away. But if you want something serious, you're right. Go to the smaller cities, man. Get away from the Cartagena and the the Bogotas and the Medellin especially. And a lot of girls I meet here too on the beach, they'll come from Medellin, other places, to work here for 3-4 days to make money. So they're not all from Cartagena. They'll come in here just to work and then go back on a Monday or a Tuesday. Make good money.
And and if you show like interest in learning their culture and knowing what they're about, I can promise you 1,000% that you're going to be met with a plate full of gratitude and respect.
Yep.
So when you go down there, they're they'll like if they trust you, they'll I the first time it took like about 3 visits, but my girl finally invited me to her home and met their family and under their wing, and I've been there ever since for the past 3 years. But they will take you under the wing. They'll respect you because you're interested in learning about them. Like learning Spanish. You if you attempt to learn a few words, that they'll be so happy. They'll be like appreciative that you're trying to learn. You might not be the perfect. It might be very difficult for some people to learn, but at least that you're trying. And you're trying to apply that technique, that skill to them. They'll be very appreciative. And it goes a long way, throughout your visits in Colombia. So.
Learn that Spanish. Somebody asked me once, and I get the question all the time. I'm no dating guru, but somebody asked, where do I meet the women at? I say, or what do I do to meet the women? I said, go outside. Like, first of all, you got to leave your apartment, your house, your Airbnb. You just got to go outside. And then go to the grocery store. Go to the Jumbo, the Carrillo. Go, Carrillo. Go and just, they don't get why I go to the grocery store. I'm not saying go buy groceries, but if you live there and you're a regular and you come to the same grocery store all the time, girls are there. They're stocking the shelves. And I don't know. I guess it's because the pay is so low. There may be 2 or 3 girls on each row stocking the shelves. There's like 25 people stocking the shelves. Am I wrong? How many people work in this place? Damn, there's more people work here than in the line. But if you just start talking to them and say, ¿puedes ayudarme? Start ask them, ¿puedo practicar mi español con usted? Can I practice my Spanish with you? They'd be glad to. Next thing you know, you start talking, and the first things I learned were the important parts. ¿Tienes niño? ¿Tienes novio? ¿De dónde eres? ¿Dónde vives tú? ¿Está usted libre esta noche? No. Mañana noche? I'm a salesperson, so I take rejection for a living. Don't harm me. And don't take rejection. But I found that most people there anyway, aren't rude in their rejection. Am I wrong? They'll be friendly, and I've heard story after story. They'll be friendly in their no, but they smile and still talk to you.
Yeah,
not like the U.S.
Or they give you their number, but they won't, respond to you. But they give you the number, real nice, and give you a number.
Yeah.
Hey, and practice. Yeah. I used to watch Sly the same time I was watching you. He's in Angola, Nigeria, wherever in Africa, Algeria, I think. And I used to watch him, and he would walk down. I could not figure out how he was hiding his camera and walking up to girls and talking to them. And he would get accepted sometimes. He'd get rejected sometimes. But he gave us that look. This is how you just start talking to people. Just start talking. Same thing in the U.S. Like I said, there's still some good girls here. It's just work finding them, like trying to find a diamond. You just got to work at it. Here, I don't have to learn Spanish. I just got to get rejected. Again, if you ask 10 girls to dance and one says yes, then if you want to dance 10 times, you need to ask 100 times. It's easy. It's just it's the numbers game, but you can't be shy. Yeah. Okay, let me see. This says can you tell by facial features, Venezuelan women have more exotic appearance than for the most part?
Not really. The physical aspect is really kind of, for me at least, it's identical. And like you said, like Bogota and Medellin, they're more like light-skinned European. So when you go to the coastline, they're more darker.
Yeah, somebody says the speech and skin tone in Bogota is how I can tell. I, in my building, have met 2 girls from Colombia and 1 girl from Venezuela in my building at the coffee machine.
Whoa.
I'm in Houston. And then I go up and get some chicken on the corner. And I asked the girl, I said, they don't dare. I said, where you from? She said, oh, from Colombia. And I go, oh, from where? Where in Colombia? Medellin. I go, oh, look,
Oh,
mira. And I show her my tattoo and I go, oh, what you know about Medellin? I know a lot about Medellin.
yeah.
And I'm in Houston. They're all over. They're in my building, dude. And that's just because, I want to start talking and then realize, oh, you have an accent. Where you from?
Yeah.
Venezuela. Venezuela. Really? And then start talking to them. Maybe watching right now. Who knows?
Yeah, Miami too. I worked with them in Miami. They had some girls from Cali, Medellin, Cartagena, and I worked in Miami in the bank. They're all over the place.
All over.
Yeah.
All over. And this ain't a cheap place right here. I got a small apartment, but it's nice. Let's see. Why can't I scroll? Oh, okay. I've been in Medellin 3 times. I would never go back due to the crimes. Okay, so let me ask both of you guys this, because I get this. Now, because I'll put out a video and they'll go, oh, now, especially every time that somebody says this, well, it's a no-go now. I'm not going now. What do you think? Based on, what's happened over the past 3 weeks, flukes or not, or just happen to be 3 in a row. What the weirdest thing is all 3 on their birthdays. If this last one turns out his birthday, I will, I'll think somebody's after birthday people. But what do you think? Because of that does it not faze you?
No, I think that Medellin is no more, no less dangerous than any other major city in the U.S.
Exactly.
It's what you make of it. What do you go down there for?
That's it.
Like for me, I mean, I'm in New York City right now. I mean, right now you're going to a subway right now. You're gonna find problems.
Yep.
Better have a club. And better fight them out, because the cops are not going to do anything right here. So basically, it's what you're doing. Are you doing something risky? Are you going to do something risky? I'd rather not do anything risky and go to a place that you can have your adult entertainment and be safe. I'm not a type of person that goes into finding those type of things, but I can tell you there are places that are safe that's what you're looking for. But you can walk down the street and be fine. Like you said, the videos that you see being, getting mugged, that doesn't happen as often in Medellin. But if you're, showing off with your necklaces, then that's what you're looking for. You're giving papaya. You're given the opportunity to basically, hey, come to me. Rob me if you can. That's what's happening. It's no more dangerous, no less dangerous. I'm still gonna go, because whether or not this was my first time or my 50th time, this is my 46th time, by the way. But basically, I would still go, even if I was a novice, because I'm not gonna enter into anything that's risky. It's just a common sense. You just go. Don't let the news dissuade you from not going. There's so many things that if you go and you do the right thing, the right path, and do things the right way, you're gonna love it so much you're gonna go back 20 more times or more.
Yeah, I've lived here 6 years.
Yeah.
And I can get got tomorrow. Okay, I can walk in the street tomorrow and get mugged, but I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go in a bar and drink for 3 hours and come out drunk. I don't even go hang out that much anymore. You
don't even drink.
I stopped totally drinking. So it's what you do. I mean, if you like to go with a bunch of guys and drink like crazy, or come with your jewelry, just common sense. You can get mugged anywhere. I can get killed anywhere. I can go on a trip to Dubai and get run over by a car or something, or you just never know when you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So it's just live your life. If you want to do something, just go do it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I had about 2 years ago, I had a small brush with the little thing that happened. I went to a restaurant with a mariachi type of restaurants in Medellin, and with my girl, and she had her friends meet up there, and we were drinking. I didn't drink that much. I had maybe 2 little shots, and that was it after a 4-hour night out. And as we were coming out, guess what? I was in a group full of drunk people. So guess what happened? We were approached by 2 guys, in Spanish, like, hey, sir, I see that you might be needing some help. We have a designated driver service, which is a thing in Medellin. They do have a service. They have businesses that actually become your designated driver. And they kept approaching me, and then when they realized I wasn't drunk, I was quite awake, and they're smaller than me. they're like, oh, I can see in their eye, like, oh crap, this guy's huge. If he finds out what we're doing, he's gonna stomp us. So basically, and every time I moved, they moved away, like they were running away from me, but they were circulating my girl. And guess what happened? They ended up stealing her credit card, her cell phone, her cellular.
How?
Well, they apparently when one got my attention, and the other guy went around the group of girls, and my girl was there, and she had her pocketbook on her side. They actually opened up the pocketbook, took her credit cards, cell phone, and a cellular. And cellular, if you're a Colombian resident or a citizen, cellular is everything in Colombia. Everything. That thing, without a cellular, you can't open up a phone. You can't open up your bank. You can't do transactions with your bank. You can't even get a SIM card to replace your stolen phone with a new phone. So you have to go to another place in town, a registry, to get a copy. So you can go and get whatever you need to be done, get done. But that was my rush. But as you can see, they thought I was drunk, but I wasn't. And we realized, like, oh crap, this guy is huge. Let me just go. Let's target the smaller girls. The smaller in the group. They were tipsy. They were obviously visibly tipsy, and that's what there goes the opportunity to manifest.
Yep.
And then they went to them, and I mean, I didn't. That was me in my novice time in Medellin, and there you go. I wasn't quick enough to realize it, because, like, for example, the modus of the mode of execution of a crime, they may be the same as here sometimes, but the way they execute it is different. So, for example, like pickpockets in Times Square might be, I'm gonna bump into you, take your stuff, and run or whatever, right? There's pickpockets everywhere in Barcelona, in Medellin. They're just gonna either pickpocket you from behind. They're gonna use a kid on a metro station trained to pickpocket you, or maybe one of the indigenous Indian women that are now found in the calles now, making beads. They sometimes use the girls there to go and pickpocket at the tourists too as well. So they use that. There's different modes. The modes are the same. There's pickpocket, there's robbery, but the difference of execution of those type of tourists or even locals. Locals do get got as well, not just tourists.
Every day. One thing you mentioned too. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carlton.
When I was in Turkey early in the year, I almost got, but I was smart enough to recognize what was happening. So it doesn't matter where you go, it can happen.
Yeah.
This guy, I was close to the real nice area of Turkey, Istanbul, on the side street, taking some pictures and videos. Dude came up, well-dressed guy, came up to me and asked me direction. Do you know where whatever it is? I said, no, I don't. And he spoke English. Then he started to engage in conversation. That conversation, I'm kind of thinking, well, I don't know this guy, just all this conversation. He knows very English. Then I try to realize he knows the area pretty well. Why did he ask for direction if he knew the area pretty well? And I mean, I picked that, whoa, that doesn't make any sense. Then he invited me to go with him this part of town where all these girls are, I can show you around and so forth. And I said, whoa, wait, hold it. Time out. That doesn't sound right, kind of thing. So I kind of backed out. I said, no. I'll show you around. But why you ask for directions if you knew the area? Kind of thing.
Start the conversation. Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are. Just gotta be smart when you travel. That's all. Yeah. Come to Medellin, come to Cartagena. Just be smart.
Yeah. Don't let the bad news dissuade.
Right.
I mean, and where you're gonna stay home all day.
I know. I always say it's a big world out there, man. A lot to see. Let's go see it.
I guy at the airport once, a good guy though. I mean, but he was very gullible, and he told me a story that this is his second time going to Medellin, but he doesn't go anywhere. He stays in his hotel all day. Then I asked him why. He stays in a hotel in Poblado. I'm like, okay, I'm scared. I'm scared of what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to get robbed. I'm like, you're not gonna get robbed. I mean, it does happen randomly. There's nothing you can do. If it does happen, then just give it up.
Be prepared. Yeah. Give it up.
But I mean, that's not, like I said, no more, no less than what might happen here. But basically, if you're working about being robbed and something that you shouldn't be doing, maybe that you should, but be smart.
And one thing I was going to ask you, I wrote down when you brought up IDs. Cedula. It's true that you can have a cedula checked at any store, right?
Yes, Tesla says Cedulas are their ID cards, and it's connected to everything. When they go buy something at the store, the cashier will say, "Oh, do you have your cellular number?" And most of the locals already know it by hand, by number, by memory. So their name pops up on the cash register, and they're like, okay, and it's like there's like a point system, like a loyalty point, honor points, something going on. So when it comes to cedulas, you can probably use that cedula to, if they're willing to accept that plan. It's basically, if you meet up a girl or whatever, and you want to go out to and kind of verify who she is, you can probably go to the store and maybe have her buy it for you, and basically have her produce a cellulite, and they can verify, hey, this is not a fake ID. This is who she is. It'll probably also say her age as well. So cellulite are a very powerful thing because everything cellulite is connected.
So you with some chick and she just shows some ID. First of all, take a picture of the ID, send it to your friends. Take a video of you with her, send it to your friends. Take her by the pharmacy and buy whatever, and then hey, have her swipe you. How would you ask the guy at the front desk? Can you swipe her ID? I mean, or would you ask her, let them swipe your ID? How would you do that?
Have the front desk keep the ID. You have to keep the ID.
You take the ID?
You can't keep the ID.
Yeah.
But you don't know if it's real. That's what I'm saying. How do you check it at a store?
Right,
how do you give it to the people who got the point of sale that can swipe it there?
Yeah. But the bottom line is get a picture of the girl, Take a picture of the girl. Take a picture of the girl and the ID. I mean, if they have a picture, they're less likely to do something because you have their picture, Current photo, not an old photo, a current photo here before you come in.
Less likely. Now, now you don't drink. Now, let's say I done had 4 or 5 drinks. Does this her? Look like it to me. So how can I stumble into a store and ask them can you check her ID? Can you swipe her cards? Does she got any points? I mean, how would you do that, Luis?
Well, from my experience, how I've been watching is that sometimes these points and promotions and discounts being offered at certain stores. So Éxitos, for example, well, usually have like a promotion going on or whatever, and sometimes, a lot of times, they're very happy. Oh, let me put that number on there, like an honor loyalty points. Yes, here's my point. Here's my my number.
It's called puntos. Yeah.
Yeah, they get.
I've got it.
So if you buy, I don't know, a box of 20 cartons of milk, that's a lot of points for them. Because they get that at some point they get some sort of big discount off of something, or maybe a raffle, whatever it is at some yeah. So
but you if you at Yetis, you're not walking down Calle Diaz to Éxitos. That's too far. So you can walk into a pharmacy and say, I want to buy some condoms. Can you swipe her card? I mean, how would you word that? How could you get that business to swipe the card?
I'll probably just say, hey, can you go get that for me, and I'll give you the money or whatever, and they'll swipe it for you. Like, she'll provide the ID. You kind of have to put like a reverse psychology on there for her, like, hey, can you go and get that for me, and here's the money, whatever, it's 20,000 pesos.
Are they going to force her to swipe though?
Well, usually it's almost like instinctively. It's almost like that locals will.
Not that she's trying to hide.
Right.
Yeah, she might be, but she may or may not give it up. Now, if she doesn't want to give it up, then there's a red flag. Then
there you go. Okay, you can just ask. Swipe your card, sweetie. Whatever.
Take a photo.
Yeah.
Always, if you can. I'm hearing this. Take the photo. Take a video. Send it to your partners.
Take a photo.
And again, if you don't have a partner there, email it to me and say, I'm at so and so at this o'clock at night. If you had too much to drink, I've had too much to drink. I know. So don't have too much to drink, first of all, because you're in a world of hurt after that. Hammer, I see you. Let's see it. It says, can you jump in now? You there? And thanks to Jonathan Mann. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Hammer, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, DC, can you hear me?
There you are. You got a picture. He's alive. Hammer's in Medellin, walking around his palace. I went past this place we pushed the elevator. I'm like, okay, what floor? What floor you on, Hammer?
You're on the top
14?
floor penthouse, baby.
Yeah, I know, but
No,
what number is it?
It's 28.
Okay, it was like, okay, like hit 28. I was like, 28. I'm like, damn, it's only 28 floors. You on the penthouse? Oh, it's like that. I thought I had a view at my Airbnb. His view was looking down on my Airbnb. But anyway, Hammer is an expat who lives there. VJ, I'm gonna bring you back in a second. I don't know if you heard.
One second. I gotta run, guys, do something. But one quick question before I try to cut you off. Somebody asked if a question about if Carlton's still doing the broadcast. I'm not. I've kind of stopped doing it. I forgot something to talk about. I talked to Rob, and it's just the fact that I'm busy doing a lot of other stuff, investment, forex, and I just don't like the fact that too many people are starting to recognize me in Cartagena. Cartagena is not as big as Medellin. It's small. If Americans recognize me, I have no problem. A lot of brothers recognize me. I say no problem. But when local guys start to recognize you, that's the problem. You know, local guys, hey, you're a guy. I'm like, huh? I don't know you. It's Colombian. So it started happening too much. So I said, just cut it off. I just didn't feel safe. You know. So anyway, that's the deal. So I'm not really broadcasting anymore. Anyway, guys, thanks for having me on, man. I got to run. Okay.
Appreciate you, Carlton. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Nice talking to you guys.
Okay, bet. Okay, so Hammer is an expat who lives in, I don't know if you've heard the conversation so far, Hammer, but he lives in Medellin, and he's got comments a lot of the times on, and I'm gonna bring VJ back in. He's got a lot of comments on some of my videos, and people who say things like, okay, after that video, I'm not going to Colombia now. It's dangerous. What do you say to him as far as, is Medellin dangerous?
Man, Medellin is no more dangerous than any other major city that you could live in. It's all about how you move. It's all about how you conduct yourself. I mean, if you're going to engage in dangerous activity, then of course bad things are going to happen to you. I mean, I've been living in Medellin for 3 years. I probably know well over 100 of Americans that live here. You know, and we all move about the city and all move happen. We all have two things in common. Number one is that we never go to Parquilletes. I mean, just never. I don't know anybody who lives here that goes down and hangs out in Parquilletes. Nobody. And the second thing is that we all have wives or steady girlfriends. None of us are out in the street. None of us are out there picking up girls. None of us are out there doing crazy things. You know, so all the people who come down here and who engage in that type of activity, you know, the likelihood of something bad happening to you goes up tenfold. It's no different than if you're in New York or if you're in Miami and you're hanging out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And what are the chances of something happening to you? You know, it's no different than any other major city. It's no more dangerous than any other major city. I mean, there's lots of us who live down here and we're very happy living here. I mean, I could live probably almost anywhere in the world I want to. I mean, why the heck would I live someplace where I feel unsafe?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, that's a good analogy. If I'm here in the States and I'm dating somebody, the possibility of me getting into some trouble is exponentially much lower than if I was out dating and drinking.
Absolutely. Period. I mean, if you're out dating and you're out down in Parquilletes at 2 o'clock in the morning, I mean, that's on you. I mean, think about this. If you were a criminal, if you were a guy who was out doing dirt, I mean, where would you go? Where would you hang out? I'd go where they hang out all the drunk tourists.
Where the money is. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I go where the money is. I go where all the drunk tourists are because it's easy pickings. You know, and that's what happens. So, I mean, the areas where I hang out, the places where I go, there are no working girls there. There's absolutely none working there. In the area where I live, the area where I hang out at, I don't ever see working girls. I mean, just never. They just don't. I don't ever see Venezuelans. There's no people up here that are soliciting for money. There's nobody that harass you when you walk down the street. It just doesn't exist up here in the area where I live in. So all the people who come down to Medellin, they all hang out in the bad parts of town. I mean, where do you likely most get robbed, you know, in California? Is it in Compton or is it in Beverly Hills? I mean, obviously, if you're hanging out in Compton, you're hanging out in a bad part of town, that's where all the bad things happen. You know, so the problem is that people come down here and that's where all the action is, that's where all the nightlife is, and that's where people want to go. So I get it.
Guys go with those intentions of going out and partying. I mean, obviously the 3 out of 4 that have passed were from it was actually on their birthday. But let me read a few of these comments and I don't know if you actually heard me read these earlier, but this is from Twitter or X or whatever it's called this week. A girl posted something and then there was a bunch of comments behind it. And I tell people to be on good behavior when you travel to other countries and even other cities, because you're representing your culture when you go there. So if they see gringos acting crazy, they think, oh, gringos are crazy. But here's some of the comments. This had to do with, well, let me read the first comment. Was the lady that posted it first said, in Medellin, 5 gringos have been found dead in hotels in the past 2 weeks. The dream of city being dangerous for them is again becoming a reality. So I'm gonna say next after every comment or retweet or whatever it is. The common thing, he entered the hotel with an old woman and he met on Tinder. Women are always making homeland. Next, but dead from overdose, ? Next, 2 for stabbing, 1 for hitman, another for scopolamine overdose, and the other I don't know. And somebody commented, nature is healing. Then, haha, I expected this comment. Says, well, next, well, they themselves are the ones who fill Instagram with advertising videos of the city, selling it as an open-air whorehouse where all the women are dying for them, according to those gringo whores. Do they like to objectify women in the city? Well, then you have it. Next, it says Colombia is the only country where its citizens are happy that there are more criminals. Next, another huge L for the sexpats. Next, how do you, let me even stop there before it even gets worse, because you're an expat, you're a local. How do you take that knowing that, and it gets worse. I don't know if you heard me say it before, but they're like, maybe this is the best way to get rid of gentrification. I mean, they're looking down on, they're calling everybody a sexpat, or there's drugs or sex. How do you feel about that since you live there and not involved in any of that crap?
Man, it's what Medellin is known for. I mean, it's what it's famous for. So when people say that they're coming to Medellin, 99% of the time, that's what they're coming down here for. But for me, myself, I am a passport bro. Okay, people say passport bros don't exist. Oh yeah, they exist. I mean, there's plenty of us down here. And we're not out doing that type of activity. I mean, we're out here living regular lives, doing regular things. You know, one of the questions I get asked all the time when I meet people down here is that they always ask me, what is there to do down here? And I just kind of chuckle when people ask me that. And the thing I always ask is, well, what is there to do where you live? I mean, there's people down here who live normal, regular lives, and we're not out in the streets at 2 a.m. That's what fly boys do. What I mean by fly boys, I mean the guys who fly in for a week and then they fly out again. I mean, when you come down here for a week and you're on vacation, you're trying to get in as much fun as you can. And guys are always going to go for low-hanging fruit. They're going to go for the easy girls, and that's what they do. There are plenty of girls, single girls in Colombia that will love to meet single guys. I see them all the time. I meet them all the time. There is plenty of them in my apartment building. Single girls, you know, that are looking, they ask me all the time, hey, you have any friends you can hook us up with? You know what I mean? You know, they're not working girls. They have regular jobs, they have careers, but guys come down here, they don't want to meet those type of women. And those women know, and I heard Andrea said earlier, that they know that if you're only in town for a week, you're only in town for 5 days, they know why you're here. They're not going to mess with you. They're not even going to talk to you. They understand, they know why you're here. Everybody knows why you're here. If that's what you're coming down here for, I got no problem with it. I don't have a dog in the fight. If that's what you want to do, have at it. Just accept the risk that comes with that.
Exactly. You are 95% more likely to have issues when you are involved in one of those two activities. I know what Colombia is famous for and Medellin is famous for, but I still don't get why somebody would go there and do that. Maybe because I'm just telling my age, because I don't get why somebody would go there and do illicit, you know, I don't even want to say the words, but you know what I mean? Why go do that there? Oh, it's pure, you know. Or did you just ask that? It's Colombia, it's Medellin. I get that. I mean, I thought that just like everybody else before I even knew anything about Medellin. I had the opportunity and I ran into in Mexico. I was at an event and had a customer who had some issues. and I come and solve those issues on their computers at the restaurants, a restaurant chain. I won't even say it's chain here in Medellin. So I asked him, I said, where you located? He said, I'm in Colombia. And I go, okay. Well, as soon as he said Colombia, I thought one thing. Okay. And then I said, where in Colombia? He said, Medellin. And you know what I think then? I go, oh, okay. Came here. I still got video and pictures. Loved it. That's when I said, if I ever move or break up with my ex at that time, I'm moving here. We did. I did. But it's all what you come there for. I didn't come with any of that other stuff. Hell, I didn't even know it existed. I knew there was friendly people. They were friendly. They helped me out. But I learned how to say, where's the ATM at? That was the first thing extra in Spanish I needed to learn. ¿Dónde está el cajero automático? And I didn't know what I kept saying. ATM, huh? ATM? A-T-M? No. Oh, cajero automático. And they walked me around. Aguacatela. And to learn how to find it. But if you don't go for those reasons, then chances are you're going to be safe. So for those who have asked me over the past couple of days, should I give my ticket up? I said, yeah, give it to me. I'll take it because I'll go. I'm not paying $700 right now. And that's how much it's costing right now. If I want to bring a luggage, and I do have luggage, I may want to pick a seat. And I don't care how long it take or whatever. I've been looking at flights all night last night, but I just can't pay $700 for it. Not when I want to go to Thailand next in January, and back to Guatemala. I want to climb the volcano too. So I'm trying to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I heard you ask the pound, of what percentage of crimes down here actually get reported. And I can tell you for almost 100% certainty that it's well under 20%. I went to a hotel to have breakfast 2 months ago, and the police just happened to be in there, and they were giving a seminar, about safety in Medellin. And what they said was that they guesstimate that probably about only 15% of the crimes actually get reported. And the reason being is that a lot of guys are embarrassed. A lot of guys are leaving town in a couple of days, and everybody knows that. So, and people always ask, why don't the police do something about it? And one of the things they said that it's hard to do something about it when there is not a victim, or when there's no one here to step forward. So if you get robbed and you report it to the police, then the police are going to do an investigation. Well, by the time they get around to finding the girl or going to trial, you're already back in your country. You're not coming back here to face this girl in a court of law. If there is no victim, then there is no crime. It's the same thing in the USA. If you don't report a crime, or if you're not willing to come forward and identify this girl, there's not a lot the police can do.
Mm-hmm. And you got it right. You picked Luis. You and Carlton's got it right at 15, 20%. I said 5. I said only 5%. And I just know that from talking to people, because people tell me stuff that I don't put on here. I know stuff that has happened to people that they just didn't complain. And I was getting ready to write down, never tell anybody when you're leaving. Never tell anybody when you coming either. Hell, nobody knows when I'm going to show up. I just show up, because everybody I know that's announced they're going to show up got robbed. I mean, from what's his name, the MMA fighter, his manager, what's his, I forgot his name, but he got robbed. Another singer said, I'm coming in town, and he got robbed. And I'm like, I'm not, why? No, I'm just going to show up. I'm just get a good ticket and I'll be there. And when anybody asks you, oh, when do you leave? When are you leaving? Never ask anybody when you leave. And I'm telling you, I seriously think the reason that most people that get robbed and get their passports left behind is so that you'll go. They want you gone. So that's why I think they leave the passport. Almost 9 out of 10 times, they leave the passport, because they want you to just take the L and roll out. That's my guess anyway.
Yes, sir. Just like that video that they showed, I think you posted it. Those 2 guys that came and they were flashing like all this money on the table that they had, and then the girls that caught that they were gonna meet, like they spread the word, and before they knew it, the girls showed up, and they didn't even scope them. They they just strong armed them. I think a whole bunch of people just showed up with them like not expecting it, and they just tied them up, and yeah, they got caught up. It's just like that. Like you said, you can't be flashy. You can't do none of that nonsense. It's just unfortunately it's that mentality, but that's
Don't
what
do
happens.
this right here. Don't do this. Throwing money in the air. I asked myself, would I do that?
No, not a chance. Not at all. No, none of us not agrees. A chance. Nope.
Yeah, nah, it ain't gonna happen for me.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I'm not getting caught up in. I think too far ahead. I play chess, so I think too far ahead. And knowing what I know, why would I put myself in a certain position? And guys who are watching this, let me try to get through some of the comments. Okay, Bucaramanga is fairly safe and low-key city. Never been. Anybody on the panel been to Bucaramanga or Barranquilla?
I have.
I passed by there, and I was talking to a girl from Bucaramanga.
I can't go to Barranquilla, obviously. And that just because of the reads. Amazon almost, what does this say? Amazon almost had my phone stolen in Bogota by a guy on a motorbike. I seen a woman have her phone stolen. My friend was only on a date with a chick and she looked out at this end. I'm trying to click through. If I don't read your comments, I'm going to click through them anyway. While everybody's talking here, but I want to at least get these seen because everybody here are actual subscribers. So I think that's why I see the little red mark next to each one. The less touristy cities are going to be generally the safer. Exactly what you said. Go to the smaller towns. And if you're going to meet somebody, don't meet them at a club. Like I said, meet them at the grocery store, meet them at the flower shop or the ice cream shop. Am I right, Hammer? Girls like ice cream down there?
They love ice cream down here. There are so many single available women in Colombia. It is just not even funny. And when you live here and you see people on the street every day, you go to the same restaurant, you get to talking to people, you get to know them. And I am just amazed at how many single women that are down here that are just looking for relationships. I mean, they're absolutely practically begging for relationships. But guys always choose to go out with streetwalkers, which I don't understand. So if you're looking to meet a girl, I mean, the opportunities here are just endless. They really are. But you have to be willing to put in the time and the work, and most guys just aren't willing to do that.
True, but I will bet that you're seeing more of them because you got a girlfriend. And they're in your building. It just happens like that. It's like you get more attention when you with a girl.
Friends of friends, my girlfriend has friends, they have friends, guys down here, one of the coolest things down here though is just parties. So I go to house parties and obviously there's single girls there and they are just not shy about their intentions about wanting to meet somebody. And I'm just sitting there like, wow, where's all the guys at? Where's all these guys that are down on Calle DS? If they were here right now, they'd be absolutely shocked.
But they don't know where to go. They don't know where that spot is. You mentioned there's a spot up by Tesoro, where the ladies with the dough rolling looking for men. That was real fancy. I should have gone. But the guys that are coming from watching videos, everybody wants to go to Parquilleras. That's all they know.
Exactly. Everybody wants to go to. Let me say this before I forget. When I went to that seminar a few months ago, and I was standing there, and the police actually came over. He sat down to my table. He was talking to me, and he said that just 4 days prior to that, they had arrested 4 girls, and these girls told them that they were members of a gang, and they had over 200 females that they knew of that was part of their gang. And they said that when they're on the street, they're down there in Parquilleras, they said there's somebody that's always watching. And when they go out with a guy, they are texting information to other gang members about where they are, where they're going. When they get to your apartment, they're texting about what's in your apartment, what's available, how to get in, how to get out. They said there's cab drivers, there's Uber drivers, there's portadiers, there's everybody that's part of their gang. They have girls in La Isla, in Face to Face. I forget the name you guys were talking about it earlier. All the strip
Trusted
clubs.
those. Mhm.
Yes, they have girls working in every single strip club. So they said that they knew of over 200 girls that were members of their gang. And so you think that you're smarter than these gang members? When they're down here, they're on their home turf. They know the ins, they out, they know all the back streets, they know all the people. You can't outsmart them. They're constantly evolving their technique. They're constantly upgrading their skills. When they steal your phone, I knew somebody that happened to them when they stole this guy's cell phone. They hacked into his bank account. They knew exactly how much money he had. They got into his Facebook page and they were texting people in his Facebook page, texting his wife, texting his kids, texting everybody. They knew every single thing about this guy. They knew where he worked, knew everything about him. So now these gang members have all of your information. They know all of your contacts. They know everybody. And so they use this to extort money out of people. They know where you live. It's all this information is in your Facebook. All this stuff is out there for everyone to see. And so when they steal your cell phone, they steal all of your information goes along with it.
I got to save this piece that you just said. So if a girl asks you, hey, you have Facebook? Let me join you on Facebook. And she's got all your info. So they don't even need your phone for that.
They don't even need your phone for that. But when they steal your phone, you think that no one can hack into your phone? Well, these gang members have people that do exactly that. That's all they do. So these gang members are very sophisticated. They're not these little street level people that you're talking about. They're very, very sophisticated. And it's the same as any other city. There's gangs in every city you go to. I mean, that's all they do. And they're constantly, evolving their technique. They're constantly upgrading their skills. So if you think you can come down here and you can outsmart them, then be my guest. Give it your best shot.
I hear you. Dennis, thanks for the $20 super chat. Much thanks, brother. The Canadian $20. So I'm gonna cut this piece. I'm gonna cut this piece out right here, what you just said, because I say this over and over again. You're not gonna beat a prisoner, first of all. You're not gonna beat a prisoner in prison. I don't care if you're a guard or the warden. These guys got too much time on their hands. The same thing with these girls. And if it's 200 of them working together and they got the time to perfect their skills, and you've had drinks, again, I keep bringing it up. Drinks are fine. But when you have too many, you keep, and I know this because I've climbed that drinking mountain, and then I had that last one. And now since I don't drink hardly anymore, I went out 3 weeks ago and had 3 or 4 drinks. Look at that. I don't even remember how many I had. 3 or 4 drinks, and it wasn't good. My body wasn't used to, I can't drink. It was days 4 would be nothing for me. But now, because I don't drink anymore, yeah, be careful. And I've taken alcohol classes too. So let me pass this on to those who don't drink. There's something in between your stomach and I guess where the stuff comes down. It's called a pyloric valve. What happens is that's normally shut off. It's shut off when you're nervous and you're apprehensive. So when you sit at a bar and you have a couple of drinks and you're nervous, you can have 3 or 4 drinks and you don't get a buzz and you're going, what the heck's going on? I don't even drink. And I just drank 4 beers. Then somebody comes up to you like the scammer or somebody that makes you comfortable. Hey, how you doing, my friend? Oh man, I know my way around here. Let me show you. All that you had stored up goes pouring into your gut. And that's where the alcohol is absorbed in your stomach. And I've seen people, because I manage bars in the DC area, fall off their stool. Just literally fall off of a stool, straight back, head first. Oh, it sounds bad on hard floor, man, on brick floor. It sounds real bad. But you got to remember that there's ways to drink. Don't have pasta before you go out drinking, but make sure you eat something before you go out drinking, because all it does is it's still going to go in, but it's going to slow it up. And if nothing else, it helps you when getting sick. It comes up. But you got to be careful. Just like Hammer said, these guys and gals are professionals. And I said it earlier in a text that they are always a group of people behind that one girl, like the guy that just got stabbed. There's something to that story. There's just something, I think something different about, guys just don't get stabbed there. It don't happen. It just don't happen. I mean, you may get drugged, you may get robbed, you may get shot, but getting stabbed in your apartment, that's just something to that. So there's something about a girl was seen leaving. Then they said it was a person leaving, and they're not sure if it was a girl or a guy that was leaving. There's always somebody coming and going, like the video I did in Bogota. The girl drugging a guy in his beer. Next thing you know, they show him walking to his place. Then all of a sudden, the cab pulls up, and she makes trips to fill up the taxi. Who the hell's driving that taxi? They're all working together. You cannot beat that scam. You can't beat diversion. These people are professionals. Give it up, guys. You're fish in a barrel, and the more that are coming, and Christmas is coming, more guys going to go. More girls going to go down there to try to get the girls. And if there's a team of 200, I mean, how you beat that? And they're texting each other, and you can't speak Spanish. They could be talking right in front of you if you don't speak Spanish. Are we going to rob this clown? See, mire, who's old clown? I don't even know what the word for clown is, but he's a joke. And they're right in front of you, and they just smile. Oh, I told her you were cute. Oh, you don't know no better. Learn some Spanish, guys.
They call you Bobo. That's the Bobo.
Learn some Spanish, guys. Well, any tips? Luis, I appreciate you being on for all this time too. But any other tips that you can pass on before we jump out of here too? Guys got to know. I'm going to click through some of these. If I see, while I have this one highlighted, I didn't say you can't wear a backpack. If you're referring to the video that I showed, they happen to show up with their backpacks on, baseball caps, shorts, slippers with socks in their slippers, and chains. I could not paint. If I wanted to paint a picture like that, I could not. That's why I showed that video, because everything was all wrong together, and they probably got followed from the airport. I'm not saying don't wear a backpack. I'm just saying in that instance, they had, just like saying I didn't say wear a baseball cap. They just combined as much stuff wrong as they could to say, other than the sign that said rob me. That was the only thing they were missing. Colombia is safe for the sane and balanced. Anyway, anybody, while I click through these last, I don't know how many there are, but I'm going to click through some of these until I see a question or something. But any advice you guys can pass on to these new guys while I'm clicking through this?
Oh, basically, remember, like these women that are indeed, basically committing crimes against tourism for foreigners, like, again, scoping guys, drugging them, and robbing them. Remember, like these women, just like the gangs who are professional at this, are professionals at playing your manly emotions. They know what makes a guy tick.
Yep.
Remember, like the say, if you go up to a woman in New York or Texas or California, you know, give or take, the average response, and when they say yes or no, if they want to talk to you or not. If they do talk to you and they show interest, their response in general. I mean, every person is different, but in general, they know, that when you go down there and they show interest, your radar will go up. You're gonna throw that situational awareness out the window, because you think they're really they're not. You think they're really into you. Then if they're someone who's in nefarious plans, they're not into you. They're into what's in your wallet, or what's in your Airbnb, or what's in your bag. They're professional. They're manipulating as a human being, as a man, your emotions, and how to get you riled up and totally make you go into cloud 9, and you disregard your personal safety, you disregard your property, your valuables, and and put yourself in. So definitely, before you go down there, and if you're, people are gonna do, like you always say say on video, people are gonna do what they want to do. You're gonna do what you want to do without what we talked about tonight. Do consider, put your emotions in check. Take a deep breath before you go out. Listen to the advice, a checklist, maybe perhaps note possible red flags that will, maybe make you hesitant before you kind of like proceed to your plans of night.
Mm-hmm. J Kite, I'm not sure how to. I think that's a QIGHT. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. I have a question here that says, so in your opinion, is it getting more dangerous both dating and walking around in the street? I would, I mean, just me, I would say not walking around the street. Yeah. I mean, it is Christmas. I mean, hey, I know DC's off the chain right now with it still in the cars and stuff like that. Houston, I just show one. They follow you during Christmas time. They follow your car. They follow you to your car. They watch you put the stuff in the trunk. So if it's happening here, then it's happening there probably more too, because it's Christmas time. But I don't think walking around the street is more dangerous. What about you guys?
No, I don't think so. I think as long as you use common sense and you just blend in, you'll be fine. You'll be quite fine. Like I said, things do happen beyond one's control, but that's just random. That's like rare that actually happens to someone. They'll probably target you. Most of the time that things do happen because they target you because they sense that you're not there. You're a gringo. They probably saw something flashy. Just don't do that. You'll be fine. It's not more dangerous than walking the street. I think it's more riskier than in meeting someone on the other end of that dating app. That's more likely to happen that you don't want to meet.
Yeah.
I'll say this: if you are targeted, if you are robbed, that person has already selected you well before that incident took place. So there's something about you that triggered him to let him know that you are an easy mark. Nobody's just going to walk up to you randomly. Very rarely that ever happens. They've already watched you. They've already staked you out. They've already followed you. They've already done everything. You're just unaware that they've already done it. Situational awareness is your best safety. I see so many people walking down the street that are just simply not paying attention to what's going on around them. They got their head buried in their cell phone. I don't know what the hell do you guys be looking at when you're walking down the street on your cell phones. I mean, I'll say probably 50% of the time I leave my house, I don't even carry my cell phone with me. Not because of fear of someone stealing it. It just ain't nothing for me to be looking at on my cell phone. The other thing is that you have to pay attention to what's going on around you. That is your best defense. If you're not paying attention, you are an easy mark. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, sure, exactly that. I mean, bottom line is, if you're not aware of your surroundings anywhere in the world, and you just out, in dreamland, expect to get got. That's bottom line. That's pretty what I mean. If you don't have that much sense, you shouldn't be traveling. You shouldn't be going out. Period. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some people with not that much common sense out here. But yeah, if you come out here, yeah, do your homework. There's so much information out here. Rob's channel, the other gentleman that left his channel, it's just a lot. It's really shame upon yourself if you're not, if you get caught up in that. If you're gonna go do dirt in any country, expect that element to get you, because you're putting yourself in that situation.
Like, think about it. If when lions go out hunting, they don't hunt the strongest. They always hunt the weakest. They always go after the weakest person. It's the same thing with criminals down here in Medellin. And they already walking down the street. They're already looking at you. When I was talking to the police the other day, they said that these girls said that when they're on the streets, down in Parquilla, there's somebody across the street or somebody just down the way is watching them. Another gang member is always watching. So when they select the girl, we call it down here doing airstrikes. So when you're in the Uber with that girl, she's texting your location. She's texting where you guys are going. She's texting you the name of the hotel, the Airbnb that you're staying at. She's texting you the doorman. She's texting you every single thing to other gang members. And they're already putting the plan in place on how they're going to rob you. This is way before it ever happens. There is somebody that's instructing her exactly what she needs to do, how to put this in your drink. Why you would drink with a girl is beyond me. If you don't drink with a girl, that's going to eliminate her opportunities, her scoping you. So my thing is always pay attention. So when you're in the car with this girl, or you're walking down the street with this girl, she's on her phone texting. I can almost guarantee you that she's texting somebody else information about you, where you're going, where you're staying, or what your plans are, how long you're going to be here, when you're leaving, everything. Every bit of information that she can extract from you, she's relaying to somebody else. So don't be a weak link. Don't make yourself an easy target, because they're always going to pick the easiest target, the path of least resistance.
And it's normally the drunkest person too. And one thing, if you can't speak Spanish, you can't read it. So you don't know what she's texting. Again, they can be talking right around you and you not even know. And I mean, they speak so fast. I mean, if they didn't want me to understand what they were talking about, it'd be easy for them to just talk fast enough. And it's like Morse code. You miss one and they all start running into each other. I can pick out a word every once in a while, but if you can't even say ayúdame, then you got problems. But keep that in mind. This JFP says, today I saw an American from Pennsylvania got robbed by a yellow taxi. So my question is to you guys: do you take a taxi in Medellin?
All the time. I take taxis. Absolutely. And let me give you a tip here. Number one, I have rules. Number one, there are plenty of taxis down here in Medellin. And I don't get in taxis with anybody that's not above the age of 60. I don't get in taxi with a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, because they're far might be doing dirt. I don't get in taxis with dark tinted windows. There's plenty of taxis down here that have the limousine tint. You can't see inside of them. So think about this. Who's more likely to be doing dirt? Some 60-year-old guy or some 30-year-old guy with covered in tattoos or whatever. So I do it down here all the time. And there's ways you can do it. So
but why don't you take Uber?
I can take Uber. It's just that there's so many taxis that are readily available. I don't have to wait on a taxi. So it's just easy. But once you know how to move, once you know how to, get around, once you know where you're going, that's a big thing. You get in a taxi, you don't know where the hell you're going. You don't know where this guy's taking you. But once you know the streets, I know all the back streets. I've been here long enough now. Once the guys know that you're local, they tend to not bother you. So they know who the tourists are. They know who the marks are. Trust me, these guys are smart. They've been doing this for decades. This ain't their first rodeo. They know a tourist. They know an easy mark. And they're going to always take the easy mark. They do it every single time. I take taxis. There's probably not a week go by that I don't get in a taxi. I've never had an issue. There's never. There are things that you can do. I'll tell everybody. When you come down here, you're a tourist. Before you get in a taxi, take a picture of that cab. Take a picture of his number. Take a picture of his little placard that he has on his car. Number two, take a picture of him. Hey man, hey, turn around, take a picture. I take a picture right in his face. He knows I just took his picture. Text that picture to somebody you're with. Never go any place where somebody don't know where you're going. Let somebody know where you're going, what you're doing. People say, oh, I don't want nobody to know what I'm doing. But why? Everybody knows what the hell you're doing. Nobody's stupid. Make sure somebody knows where you are. The more people know where you are, the more safe you are. If you take a picture of this guy and you send it to somebody, now he knows that you know who he is. So always do that. It's just an added layer of safety. You can take Uber if you feel better doing that. But again, Uber drivers are in on it just like cab drivers are.
You can't scam. Uber has a record of it, and you never need to come out of your pocket with anything. And you forgot, if you're going to take a taxi, make sure he's got a meter, a working meter, because they'll say it's a set price or something and set that price, whatever price they want. Luis, you take taxis?
Yeah, once in a while. If you're away from Euros Park, I think.
But you drive. Wait a minute. I
do drive a lot, but I once in a while I'll take a taxi if I need. But most of the time it's Uber. But if I think most of the problematic taxis are usually Euros Park. That's what you hear about they're working with some sort of a network, or they kind of hustle tourists to pick them up and take them someplace you're not supposed to go to. If you hear about that as well. But most of the time, when I do get a taxi, it's usually outside of Poblado, and I go to like Sabaneta. There's usually local people that within that. The taxis are, like, for example, if you notice that they're kind of registered in certain districts, like they operate in certain districts, like they'll hang out and pick up and then take you to Poblado, wherever you're gonna go. Yeah. So Sabaneta taxi cabs are usually hanging out in Sabaneta and Envigado, and then they'll take you to where you gotta go. But basically, I never had any problem. I had a problem with one Uber, where sometimes they'll pick you up at the airport and they take you and you pay for that transportation to go through the toll. But then they'll go and say, "Oh, but there's a new law that's happened." I mean, there's no law because there's.
Oh, well, we all have a ride. Remember, Andres' information is in the description, so you don't need to take anything but him through the tunnel. It's all paid for, and you help our charity, by the way. But and how about you, Ray? Quick, VJ, do you take taxis?
When I first got here, a couple times, but most of the time I always had a driver. So if you guys are able to get like in a group of like a private drive, I have a group of like maybe 10, 20 drivers that are they're local friends, and they just happen to all be drivers. So if you get something like that, they'll show you places like the local type of things that I was talking about earlier. So if you guys gotta kind of want to get immersed in the culture, it does help out. I think your experience here. Yeah, obviously, yeah. That's like that should be like Bible right there. It's like you have to learn how to speak Spanish. But even if you don't speak Spanish, there's a Google Translate, and most of them know how to use it. You just press a button, say what you gotta say, and it does it for you. So
yeah,
there's that. But yeah.
Okay, so you guys heard it. I mean, VJ got his private driver. I have Andres from the airport, but otherwise I'm taking an Uber. But Hammer and Luis will take taxis. By the way, Hammer, you got to call a taxi to your place. They ain't sitting out front of your spot. You got to call to come get you. Let's see, DC Raw, what do you think about this matrimonial services? Okay, what do you guys think? I mean, I've seen them, and I heard it in the chat earlier that they charge $5,000 to try to hook somebody up, and I mean, I think it's a scam. I've seen the girls that try to hook. I mean, and they say the women are vetted and all this stuff. I mean, I don't get involved in any of that stuff. I know many of people that try to hook people up, but I don't. That's not what I do. I just want to give you guys information to stay safe. But what do you? I don't know. We just drop Hammer, but Luis, well, you got a girl. So, but would you say they scams or would you use them? I mean, would you recommend somebody use it?
I mean, I just recommend just going out and meeting local, legit women, because I mean, there's no guarantee that's not going to be a scam. It could be vetted all they want, but their intentions can be changed, and once they reach the United States, or once they marry an American citizen, and their goal is to get that green card, and if it is a scam, if guess what? You're responsible for that person for 10 years. So in the United States, if they come to the United States with the green card, and then things can happen after that. But I think a lot of things can go wrong without those arrangements. And I just say, keep it simple. You just go meet some girl and some woman that's legit out in town, that's local. They'll all say hi. They'll respond to you. They'll be happy to get to know you. You don't need a contracted service, to hold your hand and introduce people in a lineup.
Agreed. Spend your money on learning Spanish.
Yeah.
And not being shy, and then just go out and, I mean, rejection is part of dating, I think. So you got to be willing to, I mean, if you don't ask, I mean, I teach this. If you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm always, people wonder, why do I always get upgrades in hotels and on flights? And because I ask for it. Why do I get the best meat in the display case? Because can you move that burger out of the way? I don't want that brown one. You got anything in the back? You have anything else new? Excuse me, this jacket out here, do you have this in the back? I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get. Nobody's going out of their way to offer things. I mean, every once in a while you may get a good salesperson, but for the most part, nobody's going out of their way to add work for themselves. So ask and ye shall. How are you in here twice? Ask and ye shall receive. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get. I don't know what this one says. Can you see? It's a question for panel. So what will happen if all three men stop picking up the girls? What will the clubs, bars, and restaurants do? I don't really understand the question, but
I think he's trying to say what will happen if all the men will stop picking up the girls from, like, say, for example, the Yaro's restaurants. Some of these girls will cater to the restaurants and bars. So a lot. I guess you can say, like, if there's a group of girls, streetwalkers that are hanging out in Yarrow's Park in front of a bar or a restaurant, They may not be working for that bar or restaurant, but because they're attracting attention to that spot, I might say, you know what, let me go get some drinks while I talk to these girls. So, I mean, I think there was an issue that was brought up when they started pushing out the working girls out of the Yarrows Park, and they kind of cordoned off the park with fences
for a
points.
day. They got
Yeah.
rid of the girls for a day, and they were right back.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I think to honestly, I think some of the restaurants will be disappointed. They might not be really happy because it is a lot of tourists do go there for the girls. You know, that's the main problem. There is a lure to it, you know. But you know, like I always said, there's always another way to do it safely.
Mm-hmm. JWR Colombia, $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says, don't get street women. Just go off the big websites. Ask Luis. I sent him the link. There's a main one to go. Oh, it just disappeared. Where'd it go? So there's a main one to go. Do you know what he's talking about? I sent you a link.
I think.
Oh, wait a minute. There it is. There it is. You know, he said, but I stay in Cali, but been all over the country.
Yes, I know him. And he's a good guy. He knows a lot of the ins and outs of Colombia.
Definitely. Okay, guys, I'm not going to get through all of these comments.
You should put him on next time you do another live. Help people out understand.
He's definitely well experienced. He's been around, definitely been around the neighborhood.
Did you guys know anything about the club Black Diamond? I heard the bouncers and the people there are linked up with the girls. Is the Black Diamond the same as no, Black Diamond's the one you mentioned earlier, right?
That's from that video of the guys making it rain that you showed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, you guys need to be careful who you messing with in some of these places. Uh-oh. Okay. This one's for you, Luis.
There's you know,
you don't speak Spanish and don't use drugs, you don't get papaya.
Yeah,
all will be well.
That's right on point right there.
Papaya and everything will be fine.
Yeah. Even I can understand that one. Colombia is as safe as you make it. Always stay in public places. Don't walk around down the streets, any dark streets at night. I used to walk everywhere. I've walked all around there by myself. I've had drinks. I was comfortable. Just the last time I just realized I couldn't do that anymore. And I can't, especially never walk with a camera. I see people do it and I'm shocked to walk around Parquilleras at night filming themselves. I'm shocked, but and nothing happened to them that night. So, you know, DC Roberts out Colombia tricking. I don't know what that means. But he's sightseeing during the day. Not very true. Quick question. If Cabify good, is Cabify good or Uber in Medellin, Antioquia? I'm an Uber guy. Cabify is there. There's also InDriver and one other one.
There's a female one. I think it's called Purple.
Oh yeah. I did the story on that one. Yeah, Purple something for the women, so they have their own. They know a woman's gonna come.
I think what's the other one? InDriver, you have to kind of like offer.
If that's the one you bid on, right?
Yeah, you bid on them. Yeah.
Yeah, I give you 10,000. No, I'll give you 8,000.
Yeah, you bid. Yeah.
Okay, Mango and Purest Android phone. Robbed the other day, an American stabbed in Poblado Hotel. What's the reason? Something he did wrong? That's the one I don't know about. I don't know all the details about it. I've been checking every day, all day. There's only one other story that's come out, and it's just slightly different. It's the same thing. It's like they took the story like I did and just read it. Yellow cabs are scary. And by the way, don't slam the doors in these cars. If you'll notice when you get out the car, they will reach over and stick their arm out, stop you from slamming the door. Because remember, their doors are about like this remote, or like as thin as this remote is. And it's not like your car back here where you can shut it and get a good shut. No, the same shut you get a good shut here is like bang. Yeah. It sounds like the whole car. I mean, the cars are small and tiny. And when Hammer mentioned the tent on the on the cars, a lot of Ubers do that too. That was one of the lures. Every time I got in an Uber car, I would try to learn one or two new words. And oscuro, tinted, dark and windows was one of the words I never forget I learned. Because they could put it on the windshield. I'm like, we can't do that in the States. We definitely can't put it on the front. on the front sides, passenger and driver. We can do it on the back, but on the front, they actually tint the windshield like almost 2/3 of the way down. I guess, I don't know. I don't think the sun's that bad, but it's legal, I guess. What about the powder the woman was taking about the day, blow it in your face? That's just another way to give scopolamine. They blow it in your face. And just like that, I don't know if you all have seen the video, but there's a video of a girl at an ATM. I think it was Bogota. It's about a year ago.
I think it was DR. I think they were DR.
Was it? Well, what's the story? Somebody was at the ATM.
Yeah.
And she turned around and somebody blew something right in her face, and she turned right back around and started typing the numbers and taking money out.
He turned his will. He just totally went out. Like
if that is true, is that a true video? That I don't know.
I thought Rob from Sweet Georgia put one out there where it was a girl. She was getting money out, and the guy blew the scope in front. He scoped her, and then she turned around and got more money out, and then he left, and she just sat down. Is that the one you're talking about?
I just remember it was on the ATM. The ATM was on the right-hand side. The view is from the right-hand side. Yeah. Somebody using a machine. She turned around. Yeah. Somebody blew something in her face, and she turned right back around and went back to the ATM within 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Well, I saw that he posted. I don't know where that was at, but I saw that one.
Okay, 29 Thizzle. Thank you, sir, for the $20 super chat. Much thank you, sir. Mikey, much thanks. Says, what up, Rob? I'm in Laureles. I hate to go home tomorrow. Man, I know that countdown. You watched my videos when I came back home. I was going 2 days left. 2 days left. I had the clock ticking. Trust me, I know how you feel. Me and my lady just got back from a nice restaurant near Calle Diaz called El Barrio. It was another nice chill spot. Bet, man. I told you, when you got somebody there, life is good, man. So you and Luis and Hammer living the life, man. Live that dream. And you guys got frequent flyer miles too, because I know Luis is. I know, Luis, you go enough. Do you recognize the flight attendants?
What do you mean, like?
You got to see the same ones again and again.
You do see them. Yeah, you do. You do see the frequent flight attendants. On a specific time of day.
Route. Yeah.
Routes, yeah. You do. I mean, I've been using Copa lately and Avianca because Avianca flies direct from New York to Medellin. But sometimes I really want to get out of here, so I'll work a 12-hour day, and then in 5 hours I have a ticket. I have a flight out of New York, and I'm in Medellin the next day. In the next day, because I have I take a layover in Panama and I go straight to Medellin. I'll be in Medellin by 8 in the morning. Sometimes.
Oh, that layover in Panama is a beast, man. At least from Houston, 12-hour layover.
I call it the Panama Marathon when you go into one terminal to another. That's a huge ass terminal.
I know that airport. I could give tours in that airport. 12 hours. I've seen every inch of that thing. Every time I go, it's 12-hour layover. That's just.
I get 45 minutes to run to Medellin.
That's the life right there.
You gotta have low entry. Especially when you come back. If you're doing a connection from Colombia and you land in Florida and your home city is New York, Texas. But your connections in Lauderdale, you better have global entry because that's a zoo.
I'm thinking about renting a car over the next few days, and I may drive to New York. I need to hit Connecticut. I've never been to Connecticut. Just drive across the bridge. I need to cross off. I've done 34 states. I think 34 or 36 states. So I have 14 or 16 states to go. And I can hit, I can drive around Vermont, Maine, all that stuff in one day. I can spin around in Texas and drive across Texas for a whole day, and I'm still in Texas. But up there, I can hit 4 states in one day. So I may just drive up there, grab something to eat in each state, say I was there. Is there reggae? You got reggae in your neighborhood, man? I'm down. I would travel for reggae.
Well, there's a bunch of things in New York they can go to. Everything.
I know in New York. Where do you live at? You're in the Bronx, right?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn.
You got that view.
And then I had but my main basically my whole life revolves around Manhattan because I work in Manhattan. So.
Oh yeah, you don't drive though.
Oh yes, I do. I'm not taking no subway.
You drive to Manhattan?
Yeah, I have my ways. After a while, you start learning the kinks.
You must have off hours then.
Well, no.
2 a.m.
I'm able to work for past 10 years, I'm able to they kind of find out the patterns. So for the past 10 years, I was able to find out, okay, when is the perfect time to go in to park, to free parking, what time should you go in. So I usually go in like 4 a.m, find free parking in the street, leave it there, go to the gym, then go to work, and everything's all right without having to worry about paying like $50 a day for a parking garage.
No, well, that's cheap for them now. I can't believe it's that, not even that much.
Something is going straight to Midtown, you expect to pay $100 for 24 hours.
Well, I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry about that first hour. It should be in the replay. Everything should have been recorded. So we still got a couple of hours in. So I appreciate you, man, sitting in your car all this time in the dark. Hopefully you're not in a bad neighborhood.
I'm all good.
But with the light on you too, sitting in your car at night. Yeah. You're a mark. Be careful, man. I'm sure you got a gun with you though. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on, VJ, as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for all the leads. All you guys pass on. If anybody else has any leads for stories, by all means, pass them on. A lot of times I'm on it though. So if I say, yeah, I've been working on this for 3 or 4 hours, I've been working on it for 3 or 4 hours, or I got it last night or something like that. But like the video of the shooting, I didn't have this clear one. Like I saw him, you know, when he got hit, it was blurred when he fell to the ground. But this is just freaking nuts, man. Right on Calle Diaz. It's insane, man. Right on Calle Diaz. Had to have been around by the Exito, a little bit south of the Exito, closer to the train station, maybe. But still, it's just straight nuts. But again, I appreciate you guys coming on. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Medellin, again, I still say I will go. VJ will go. Luis will go. Will you go? Again, if you still not trying to go and you trying to give up that ticket, send it to me. See if you can't transfer it to me for half the cost, because I ain't paying $700 for no trip to get down there.
March and May.
There's other place I need to get to that I'm trying to climb a volcano, and I want to go to Peru. I do want to go to Peru too. But right now, either I'm gonna rent a car. I thought about getting on a bus and just record my travels on a bus, and then I saw Noel Phillips do it. He actually moved to Houston from Europe. So he lives here in Houston, and I saw him do it, and he was like, man, I can't sleep on here. Every time I try to nod, they start announcing. I was like, nah, let me just rent a car. Even though I hate driving, I may just rent a car and drive home. At least I got cousin and everything in D.C. Take the jet up to New York maybe. Or I don't know, just drive all the way up and hit a few states. So we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, VJ. Appreciate your time more than anything, man, because I know it's a lot out of your day to jump on here and put this information out. So very beneficial, I believe. Hopefully everybody got something out of it. Did you guys have any last words you wanted to leave with right quick before we jump off?
Well, yeah, I mean, just like I said, don't let the bad news discourage you. Just go, have fun. You will have fun. Just don't be a dope, and do risky business in a foreign country, especially when you don't know Spanish. Just be yourself. Have good situational awareness. Research a little bit. Go online, look at Lonely Planet. Sign up onto our group. There's a lot of information there.
Join our group.
Definitely go. You won't regret it. As long as you're walking the right path.
Exactly. VJ,
yes,
right quick.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Basically, yep. There's nothing more else I can add, but just if you're thinking of going, just go, man. Be a man and go, and take your life to the new adventure. That's what it is.
Man up. All right. And you know what I say? I can't say go and not go, but I'll say I will go. But if you're going for your first time internationally, you're going to chase women, you drink a lot, and you do some other stuff, then yeah, maybe this is not your first trip. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna cut out of here. And Adric Apoy, peace. Thank you, sir, for the $4.99 super chat. Much thank you for all the donations in the channel. And again, for the kind words in the comment section. Thank you, guys. Peace out. I'm gonna cut it out here and finally end this and get me something to drink, and it's too late to eat. But anyway, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay.